Before now, we have been not just in storage. The central bank has also been involved using its bullion vans, armored bullion vans in transporting those electoral materials. We are happy that in the course of this relationship, we have not disappointed you, and that is the reason you have come again this time. Now, just aside from the issue of storage of election materials, together with transportation of these election materials from CBN locations to your own specific or designated locations where you want these materials to be, I know that just a few months ago, I visited your office, and you raised the issue of how foreign exchange can be procured for your to import your, whether it's beavers or other forms of election material that need to be imported. And I gave you my word that foreign exchange will be provided for that purpose. I stand here, or I sit here to confirm that as at today, not $1 is owed. All dollars that is needed to import those items have been provided, and those items have been imported. So it's all part of our commitment. Now, this issue of paying logistics for people who are transporting election materials, even to, is it wards and all that? Certainly, the assurance I give to you is that because we regard the INEC project as at a topmost or an urgent national assignment, it cannot fail. And the central bank will not allow itself either to be used or itself to central bank to be seen as an agent that frustrated a positive outcome of that election. So I sit here to give you that commitment that whatever you need, like you call, you have been responsible in the past anyway. It's not just about cash. You've done electronic payments before, and if in this case, after making your electronic payments, you require some money to pay transporters, in this case cash, the assurance I give to you is that we will make it available.
Emefiele added that the CBN will provide all needed support to INEC to ensure a credible general election.
It's nothing to worry, and I will make sure that I do not fail, because we will not allow ourselves, the central bank, to be seen as an agent that frustrated a positive outcome of the election.
And Nigerians can now be rest assured that there will be no encumbrances on the part of the Commission coming from any of the national institutions that we have been visiting. Nigerians are now assured and reassured that we are committed to conducting the elections as scheduled.
All right, welcome back to the program. My guest, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, he's with me right here at the table, Barrister Ismail Ahmed, who is the Secretary of Policy and Strategy, Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council. Like I said, a few days ago, we started this routine on the show in terms of bringing these political parties on board on the show and try to interrogate them. Today is the turn chairman of the APC. So, Ismail, welcome to the show. Okay, so welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This is my first time interviewing you, and what is it? You know, political season, you get to speak to a lot of people. So because of this period that I get to speak to, some of you that might think, oh, okay, Nancy, this show is not my show to come on.
I thought so. I thought so. When I heard Moneyline, I wasn't sure if I was, it was the right line for me.
No, but everyone goes out to make money. I guess if I take a look at, okay, you tell me there's no cash in your pocket now, but of course you do transfers and you have the card and all of that. So money, like they say, makes the world go round.
That's right.
So it's important, even in what you guys are doing, campaign season.
Absolutely.
You need money to do everything, and the political parties have been crying. Your party has been crying, that is naira shortage and all of that. But let me start, because I know we may go into all of that. Let me start by asking you the question, which is, you are the Secretary of Policy and Strategy, so I suppose that a whole lot of work have gone into perhaps the creation of the manifesto of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with you and your colleagues in the campaign. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with you and your colleagues, council and all of that. Why do you think that your candidates will be voted for at the upcoming elections, bearing in mind that the same APC has been in government from 2015 to now? And when we take a look at the macroeconomic situation, the numbers aren't looking pretty. Why do you think that Nigerians will still vote for an APC presidential candidate?
Well, I think first of all, there seems to be some sort of belief within the elite world that this administration has not done well, which is not true, which is absolutely untrue. I think in the last 3 to 4 decades or more, there's never been an administration that have crafted and created programs and opportunities for people at the grassroots, like the government of Muhammadu Buhari had done. And people for the first time have felt empowered, not for the first time of course, but to a larger extent this time around, have felt empowered through different intervention programs that have come through in different ways. And I think we have done that in a way that, and in a scale and magnitude that is really, really big and massive. So I don't think it's as bad as the elite world like to talk about, that is really bad. The numbers may not be good because the numbers are not looking good everywhere else in the world. I think there has been a complete meltdown, economic meltdown across the globe, beginning from the pandemic, the fall in oil prices, when we're trying to recover, when the world was trying to recover, we got into another war that is not yet a full-scale World War III, but to a large extent in terms of global supplies of so many things, it has gotten really bad. Countries in Europe and some parts of America are finding it difficult to find common stuff at grocery stores and department stores and stuff like that. And those are elite countries that you can mention that their economies are super economies. So it's not isolated. Nigeria is not in isolation in that. I think the numbers have gone bad in the last couple of few years all across the world. And if you look at how we have fared compared to other countries that are either in similar situation like we are, or have some developing economy and have the same matrix like we have not done extremely badly, compared to these countries. Are the numbers looking good? No, they're not looking as good as we want them to be. But then no country's numbers are looking fantastic at this point either. Everybody is struggling.
every country is trying to pull itself out of the doldrums and out of, a very bad situation. So I think we are not the only ones who are facing that. But when we bring it down to the election, I think people will be able to see, what our candidate is offering, and that's what we've been able to encapsulate in the manifesto. That the government of Muhammadu Buhari, beginning from 2015, or largely 2016, that was when we started implementing our own budget, to date, have done a lot of, there has been significant progress, especially in terms of infrastructure, in terms of legislative breakthroughs, to be able to unbottle and take out the red, what do you call it, pull out all the stops to make sure that we take out the red flags in some of this, what used to be complex organizations of government and institutions of economy, that this government have been able to kind of unbottle and allow, the free market and the private sector to participate in it, like the oil and gas sector, like so many other things that we've been able to do, like the concessions of the airports that we have been able to do. So we've expanded a lot of horizons under this administration. What Bola Ahmed Tinubu seeks to do is to improve in some of the things that we've had challenges with, and continue in some of the things that we've had great successes in, especially, and the rest of it.
Okay, I'll take you up on some of the things you said. I just allowed you to open. And when you were starting, you did mention that the elites, and I'm wondering who the elites are that are having the idea that this administration, which is an APC administration, has done well. Because if you're talking about the macroeconomic situation or where we are right now, it's not just the elites. Elites and even common Nigerians, so to speak, are all facing the same issue. If you go to buy yam in the market, there is no APC or Labour Party or PDP written on it.
That's right.
Whatever the market price is what you would buy it for. So I'm struggling to understand what you mean by this is the elites creating that an APC administration has not done well, and you have done well according to your analysis, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu is worthy to be elected again as president. Now, let me give you the numbers just briefly.
AIT, sharing the African experience.
Who is a member of the media committee and the national.
A former governor of the state and an APC chieftain, Adam Soshamule. But the president has shown that he's a man who can, walk the talk. He's the only concession he made was that the 200 naira note will, be legal tender pari passu, the old notes, for a maximum of 60 days. And if you listen very carefully to what the president said, he's keen on bequeathing fair and credible elections, and he said that, he started off by talking about the amount of money in circulation he took over in 2015 and how this same amount, swelled by over 80%, and that most of these monies were outside the banking sector, and that he knew that this was going to have a very negative implication on the 2023 elections, and that was why they made those the move. And he apologized to Nigerians that there's no gain without, no gain without pain.
No pain. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That he's not unaware of the pains of Nigeria. He's listened